Hi, everyone, and welcome to the top 10 PS2 games of all time. A list that I knew was going to be massive, and I think damn near killed me this week. But I am joined to revive me, keep my spirits up by John Cartwright, as always, and our special guest, Ash Paulson, returning from, I believe you were hit last year with the PS1, correct, Ash?
I was, yeah. I'm
here jumping on the
for the
PS
PS1.
train.
I'm back for the PS2, yeah.
I knew this was going to be a big one. PS2 is often lauded as one of the best gaming libraries of all time. And good God, you guys have shown that. Sheer variety all throughout here. To just lay it out here right off the bat, we got 961 votes for the PlayStation 2. It is second only to the Nintendo 64, which had 1,260 votes. However, it has by far the most variety of games at somehow an even 700 different games listed. So among 961 votes, 700 different games were said. The only one that comes close as far as most games, most variety of games, is actually the PS1 with 426. We damn near doubled it.
So there's over 700 games.
Crazy.
And we've got to guess 10 of them in the correct order.
Yes.
Okay.
You're not going to do it. There's no way you're going to do it.
This is going to be a mess, and I love it.
This was a nightmare to count. It just because one, the sheer variety of games, and two, the way the program that I use combines all the votes, but it's all the same. The way it's all written out the same way. So let's say I've been using Final Fantasy X just because it has the most variety of stuff. So you have Final Fantasy X. Do you write it with the Roman numeral 10? Do you write it with the the number 10? Do you do FF10?
Do you do
that variety
or FFX? Yeah,
FFX or FF10, and then there's taken in the account that maybe you have a spelling error in there. Now that's counted separate. So I have to go through and actually combine all of those, and it was a process. So I think the only ones that can compare to this in sheer variety that I have to go through and double check all of them is going to be the DS and the Switch. I think those are my next two nightmare consoles.
They're gonna be hell. But man, what an incredible system though. This is deservedly one of the all-time greats. In its time, I think I played a lot of licensed crap. And then in the next generation, I went back and properly dove into the PS2 when things were fairly cheap and just discovered how many great games there were. It just felt like an endless treasure chest of potential. You can walk into a used game store, pick up something you've never even heard of before, and it turns out to be one of the all-time greats. It's just full of games exactly like that.
I mean, the PS2, the less said about it, the better, right? I mean, what could I possibly say that could relitigate the PS2 in terms of how legendary it is? There are so many incredibly good games for the PS2 to the point where I think I speak for both of us, John. I can't even imagine how we're going to guess any of these.
The big problem too is they quite often had an amazing game, like a genre-defining great. And then it was followed up by two other games in the same style. So you have GTA 3, and then you got Vice City and San Andreas. You've got Final Fantasy 10, you got 10-2, you got 12. You've got Sly 1, 2, 3, Ratchet 1, 2, 3. It has so many things like that. So even if we get even if the ballpark's right, we might get the actual specific game wrong.
Right.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I'll be shocked if you guys get any of these. Maybe as we get to the top, but even then, I don't know.
It's also far and away the most popular console of that era, meaning that multi-platform games will probably show up more here than they would on GameCube and Xbox.
If you wanted your game on the PS2,
yes.
I mean, there's a reason that Capcom made a point of broke that exclusivity deal with Resident Evil 4 on GameCube and put that on PS2 as soon as possible. It's not as good of a version, but it was on there. It had some extra content.
Yeah.
So,
and it had the chainsaw controller, so I think we can allow people to vote for it.
Yeah, exactly. This is. I mean, I had the PlayStation, went to the PlayStation 2, just had even more variety. And coming in there, unlike the PlayStation 1, where I came in like sort of mid-system, this one I was there from the ground floor, got it at launch, and just could see the library grow. And this is where I was paying attention. And I made a point of, if a game got pretty good reviews, I tried to get a hold of it as best as I could. Didn't get everything,
I mean,
obviously, but
this is the console that had Mr. Mosquito. If that doesn't make number one, I don't know what will.
People must have voted
Yeah.
for Mr. Mosquito. It's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, it definitely is in there.
Yeah.
This was the console that had the most people going, this was so hard. Like
Yeah.
so many people like narrowing down your top 10. Like
It was tough.
Personally, I had about 80 games that I've beaten on this system.
Oh, yeah.
And I narrowed it down to about 25-ish that I was like considered the all-time greats. So getting that down further to 10 was damn near impossible.
It was so hard. Even just submitting my top 10 was so difficult. Yeah.
It's also the era where a lot of games haven't really aged at all. Like, they still look really good, and a huge chunk of them run at 60 FPS. Like, you got like Devil May Cry, you've got Metal Gear Solid 2. Like, you've got a lot of 60 FPS games on PS2 that they could just release today and they'd still feel and look great. It's that time of games where things just sort of reach their peak and they're still as good as they ever were.
Yeah.
That being said, we should probably get to it because we have a lot of things to say about these games. Plus, because of the sheer variety, I went a little out of went a little beyond this time around. Only this time around, maybe for some later consoles like the DS and Switch. I have a top 100. So
we'll have to go rapid fire through that.
I will go rapid fire for that. But yeah, I figured because people would like want to see what their votes were as much as possible. So especially with 700 games. So let's just get right to it. Shot in the dark for both of you. What in the world is our number 10 PlayStation 2 game of all time, according to these votes?
Jesus.
This isn't my personal choice, but I knew so many kids who had this game. Star Wars Battlefront 2.
All right.
Also not my personal choice, but my list is a bit weird anyway. But I'll just Shot in the Dark. Katamari Damacy. Why not?
Good choice.
Let's just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's just put it
we
up
love
there.
Katamari
I mean-
now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna like say close or anything like that. I'm just gonna go for it for this one.
All right.
Both of you, unfortunately, incorrect. At number 10, and this one utterly shocked me. I'm curious how the people are going to feel about this one.
Oh man.
At number 10, Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy.
Oh,
Wow.
1,078
Jak won,
points. Yeah.
Jak won
Super
at number
interesting.
10.
I
Okay.
never would have expected Jak 1 to make the top 10.
Same.
Jak 1 is my favorite of the trilogy, I'll say that.
Yes. It is my favorite of the trilogy as well. And I've seen the trilogy be sort of re-examined and being like, generally felt like it was kind of lesser to the other big PS2 triloties.
I like Jak 1.
But Jak 1 is an impressive game for the time. There was no loading zones as you go through it. It is one continuous game. It is an impressive piece of tech with a very fun platforming. It's a solid game. I just didn't expect it to make the top 10.
Same.
It's got that Naughty Dog legacy, and it did feel a whole lot more ambitious coming from like Crash, which was just a linear, straightforward platformer. Great games, but Jak just opened it up to this much larger world. I think this was also a 60 FPS game, so it felt amazing too. I don't know how I'd rank the PS2 like platforming one. Like you look at like Sly, Ratchet, Jak. I don't know how I'd rank them, but Jak 1 is an all-time great.
I mean, Jak 1 is just a good, solid game.
Yeah.
It's just a good game.
Yeah.
And you can't really say too much bad about it. It's just a good game that just feels good to play. And I also wouldn't have expected it to make the top 10, but I can't really argue either. I can't be like, it doesn't deserve it. Like it does.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't really argue a lot of these. It's just, that's just sort of the way it is. And it was close. Like despite the amount of votes and the amount of games, Jak and Daxter only beat out number 11, which was a tie, by the way, by 38 points.
And number 11
and
was Jak X
the one
Combat Racing.
Yeah, and the one just below that they beat out by 1 point. Like it is
okay.
a shockingly tight race
So just
for that
made
10
it.
spot.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean,
Damn.
I love this game. I've gone back and replayed it several times. It is very replayable.
Very charming too. Like compared to
yeah.
Crash, the story in particular is just, it feels more like a continuous adventure. The animation style is so far ahead of what they did on PS1 as well.
I love they have these moments where they kind of show off the system where you have like Jack leap super high into the sky, and it was blew your mind as a kid. It's, I don't know, it was definitely one to be excited about, even though there's still some Crash DNA in there because they had a little spin attack as well.
Yeah, you sort of see like where Naughty Dog were going. It's got that very gameplay first feel, but you get more of that cinematic Uncharted style in there a little bit too.
Right.
Yeah. Nice midpoint game. A lot of people would like to see them return. But by the way, something I found really funny, despite all these votes, not a single vote for Jack and Daxter: The Lost Frontier.
It's not very good.
It's not, but it's so funny that I've seen so many other games get votes, but Jack and Daxter: Lost Frontier,
funny.
nothing. So
that's funny.
Maybe on PSP, maybe
PSP will get that.
Yeah,
get some love. We'll see about that. It might be more associated with PSP, but trust me, it's still, well, I guess I could say this right now. Size matters, and Secret Agent Clank also didn't get PS2 votes, so maybe it's just association type
probably.
thing.
All right.
Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to our number 9 PS2 game of all time. This beat out Jack and Daxter by about 200 points.
Oh, okay.
So it was a bit of a jump from that fighting for that
jump.
10 slot to actually hitting number 9.
All right.
I'll just throw it out there. I mean, who knows? I mean, this is PS2. It's going to be crazy hard to guess any of these right. Number 9, I'm just going to Devil May Cry 3. Why not?
Good choice.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll say Eco.
Ooh, good one. Good one.
This is why I'm doing a top 100. All good ones. At number 9, this one's for you, Ash. Okami.
Oh.
Yes, it made the top 10.
Okami
it actually made the top 10. Yes.
I would have bet
didn't
against
think it would.
I didn't think it'd make it.
I did not. I
wonder
figured
if
it was
got a
so.
boost from Okami 2 getting announced.
Maybe.
That's amazing.
I've seen a lot of
figured
people go back and actually like, oh, let me check out the original Okami.
Well, I was telling you, Derek, that I was thinking beforehand that like Okami is so Nintendo coded to begin with that I figured that most people didn't even remember that it was originally a PS2 game and maybe more attributed to the Wii or any of the Okami HD re-releases. But no, it made it to the top 10. I didn't think it would. I'm so happy.
This was
That's
its
amazing.
only shot, to be honest. Like, if it weren't on PS2, I don't think people would have voted for it on Wii. I don't think the HD version would have made it. But now it's a qualifier for the overall best game, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
getting
amazing. That top 10 is like the order doesn't matter too much. It's just the fact that you made it to the top 10, so you can be considered for the future.
Yeah,
in my opinion, for that ultimate top prize, top 10.
Yeah,
Okami is visually amazing.
Absolutely.
Has fantastic gameplay. It is a little long in the tooth. It has a lot of like
the pacing could be neatened for sure.
I think the opening gives a little bit slow.
That charm.
Yeah. I mean, this is my number 1 on my personal list. That's what I put number 1. I mean, y'all know Okami is my number 2 favorite game of all time, and I admit it has some issues. Like I said, the opening's a bit long in the tooth. I am one of those people, though. I think it earns its length. It isn't epic. It's long, but I think it earns it, and I think that once you get to the end, you feel like you've been on a proper epic journey, and the story earns it. But I get that it's a little bit too long.
3 adventures, but each adventure has its own value.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also important to remember at the time, people weren't hot on the GameCube Zeldas. Like Wind Waker is quite fun to look back on now, but Okami was sort of seen as like Zelda done right at that point. And I think we can all happily appreciate what all these games do now, but Okami was put on this pedestal for being like that generation's most epic and, just well pulled off Zelda. And I think
didn't sell the greatest, but it's got that legacy.
Yeah.
You know what?
Actually, that Amaterasu actually got into Marvel vs. Capcom 3, so it had that love behind it.
And I've said this before. Okami is the best Zelda game starring a wolf, where you can play as a wolf, and I stand by that to this day. But we're in a weird world now where Okami 2 is a thing. Maybe Ami could make it into the next Smash. Who knows?
Maybe.
You never know.
Maybe.
It'd be crazy.
Be a
Yeah.
cool moveset.
Could be.
Yeah.
Absolute classic. It's easily available, goes on sale a lot. So very easy to check out if you have not.
Oh, please do if you haven't. It's just if you love the pre-Breath of the Wild ethos of 3D Zelda game design, you have to play Okami. You have to. You just have to. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right. It's time for number 8. And this is not getting any easier as you guys are voting. Ash, John, what is the number 8 PlayStation 2 game of all time?
This would be my number 1, but I don't have the faith that it will make it that high. So I'm going to say Shadow of the Colossus.
Man, that's a good one. Because it's number 8, I'm just going to put in Dragon Quest 8.
Cool.
Because it's a great game.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like the thought process behind it at the very least. Number 8 beat out Okami by 60 points. And I got to say, this is another one I did not think would make the top 10.
Oh, man.
But it did. At number 8, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty.
So why didn't you think it would make the top 10?
I hear people talk about MGS3 so much more. And then
right.
I figure like MGS3 plus, because usually it's like one game and then other ones kind of from other series kind of fill out based on how these polls have gone in the past.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see both. MGS2 had a lot of like anti-hype against it. People did not like MGS2 for a while, but we are in the era of it getting reevaluated.
Yeah. I think it's like 3 and 2 both have their merits. I think people appreciate them both separately and what they do well. I'd imagine that 3 is probably also here, but 2, I think, is just such a different game to anything else. It has these ideologies that no other Metal Gear game has, and explores experimental stealth far better than any of them. And there's lots of like weird little things you can do in 2, which 3 didn't touch. You've also got that sort of high-tech style, which 3 goes far like lower tech. So I think they both stand on their own really well. So I kind of expected 2 to be on here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I did too. I mean, personally, I would rank MGS3 higher than 2. However, and I have been a very vocal critic of Hideo Kojima in the past. I think he needs an editor so badly. However, I still maintain that MGS2 remains his most prescient game to this day. A lot of what he did in MGS2 turned out to come true in our social media landscape today. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I never heard of what a meme was until he said it in this game, and I'm like, what the heck is he?
I think MGS2 is low-key brilliant, and I love it. I would still rank Snake Eater higher, but I have a lot of love for MGS2, and I'm glad to see that it made the top 10. And again, the way it predicted our current social landscape is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
it is super avant-garde in that way. It's kind of brilliant, like it, and it might be his smartest MGS game.
I think it is the smartest one. I think
it is.
The way he like looks into gameplay and what people expect, and how the rig is basically supposed to be like Shadow Moses Island and the boss fights you go through and the thing. It's one of those things where in the time, like I enjoyed it as I was playing, and then I saw all the blowback for it. But then it's like you sort of ruminate on it, and it's low key brilliant.
Yeah. And all the advancements from 1 as well. Like graphically, it's not even close. You go from that flapping polygonal head to full-on facial animation. It's 60 FPS. You've got that beautiful rain opening sequence with the tanker, and then you just got a sprawling shell, to explore. It's such a huge step up, and it really goes into those technologies. And it's one of the few PS2 games that also uses the pressure-sensitive buttons. Because all the face buttons have different inputs to them. Like if you press it a little bit or you press it all the way, different things happen. and that's taken in with you can get your gun out if you just sort of hold square a little bit, but you can shoot if you press it all the way down. So few games do that, and I don't think even the remasters of this game do that.
I don't think so. I remember the demo being such a big thing at the time, and especially talking about like all the graphical improvements, where they had that bar on the tank on the ship portion, and you could shoot the glasses in the bar, and they would break realistically and keep breaking.
Like
people would constantly figure out all this stuff and what they could do. Just all those little details in there. I remember a magazine article talking about it's so detailed that you can see the hair in Olga's pits when she raises up her arm.
Oh God, man. I still, and I'm aging myself saying this, but I still remember being at Konami's booth that E3 and seeing the OG MGS2 trailer in person before the whole Raiden switch out, making it seem like Snake was the only playable character. I remember being there in person and seeing that and being so hyped. That's crazy. Yeah.
It's such an interesting bait and switch, but the Raiden Rose stuff, that's the part that I'm not sure if holds up the best. Everything else is good, but Raiden Rose, that's what I'd probably reevaluate the most whenever I get a chance to replay it.
Right.
I'm glad it's here though. When I think PS2, I think MGS2 and 3. I don't want to like jam the list with too many dual entries, but I think 2 and 3 deserve to both be here. Which, assuming 3 is, I'm pretty sure it will be.
Okay. And that's funny. That's not the only Konami series with both a 2 and a 3 that I think deserves to be on these top 10. Top 10
True.
Yeah.
It's a tight top 10. So, boy. All right, let's get to the next one. Time for our number 7 PlayStation 2 game of all time, only beating out Metal Gear Solid 2 by 23 points.
Man, what beats Metal Gear Solid 2? Like it feels like it should be a really small pool of games, right? But there's 7.
Man. You know what? Because we're on a Konami kick, my personal favorite in the series is Silent Hill 3, but I don't think most people feel that way, and it's not going to make the top 10. So I'm going to say Silent Hill 2 at number 7.
Yeah. 2 would be on people's mind as well. It would make sense to be there.
Nobody talks about 3. It's my favorite, but nobody talks about 3.
3 is gorgeous. So I think people should talk about it visually at the very least. It's like
that's
extreme.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Final Fantasy X.
This low?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of games that people would put ahead.
Okay.
All right. Well, John is on the closer track in that he got the genre right. At number 7, Persona 3.
I almost said Persona 3. Almost said it.
Yeah. Now, one thing I should mention real quick, as far as how I tallied these, because it would affect things otherwise, but I think they're mostly the same. We had people vote for Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty and Metal Gear Solid 2 Subsistence. We've had people vote for Persona 3 and Persona 3 FES. I just combined them.
Yeah, they're essentially the same. They're the same.
Basic games there.
Yeah,
I think it just makes sense to put it.
But MGS2 Substance has skateboarding.
I also made sure to like another step to go through and make sure that they both weren't there.
Yeah.
So a list that didn't have Persona 3 FES, that sort of thing on the same top 10 list. I do a lot of work for this.
I was before shouting out Final Fantasy, I was thinking Persona 3 or 4, and I think most people play Persona 4 Gold. So I thought that would make it to the Vita. Persona 3.
It's Persona 4. That's going to dominate the Vita. I think
that'll probably be number 1. But Persona 3, I think to this day that's still just a PlayStation 2 game. Those portable and PSP, but they're different games. I think this is sort of the PS2's Persona, and it's such an iconic one. This is really what started, modern Persona, because before 1 and 2 are very different beasts. If you've played like 5, I think you probably go back and play 4 and 3 as well. And it still has all of what 5 has. You're still balancing that school life. You're still dungeon crawling. It's just done in a lower poly style, but all of the formula was started here.
Yeah, and I too agree that I predominantly often hear Persona 4 spoken of more in terms of P4 Golden on the Vita
for sure.
than the original on PS2. So I'm not, but that isn't necessarily true of P3, which only had its remaster more lately on modern platforms. So I'm not too surprised by this.
We had portable where you had the
that's true.
On PS3,
the I forget her name.
The female protagonist.
The female protagonist as well, which a lot of people still go to that one just because she's there.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Persona 4 as well, that came out after the PlayStation 3 came out. That was like 2008.
Oh, I always forget about that.
Yeah. I was here day one for Persona 3. I hadn't played Persona before. I hadn't even played an Atlas game before. But there's something very tantalizing about this one. And it took me a long time to finish it. I'm talking like a decade later, but I still really adored the vibe. It was like I hadn't played many RPGs that really mixed like full anime cutscenes into them. Obviously, they're out there, but I think this was my first one that I really played that was like a mix of an anime and an RPG, and I loved it.
Yeah,
I played it a few years ago, and coming back to it after playing Persona 5, it's fascinating because the pacing is kind of terrible in this game. They have not figured out the right balance at this point. It's like all or nothing for your plot, and how you handle other things. It also had the inability to control your party members, which screwed me in the final fight. So yeah, that has its issues as well. But as a starter for the core concept, so great. And the way you summon your personas with the gun to the head, which is thematically appropriate.
I think that's what sold me on it. Yeah.
But it was so like, I would read about it in magazines. I didn't pick it up because it's like, well, this seems just edgy for the sake of being edgy. And, but no, it's thematically rich for that. And it really does have one of the best Persona stories, thanks to it. But it has this just coolness factor, which gets enhanced as time goes on with Persona.
Yeah.
In its day, I remember the evoker imagery landed it in some hot water with the usual video game politics at the time. But yeah, just seeing teens just, landed it in some hot water at the time. And I mean, this is definitely deserved. And I don't know, whenever I think Persona 3, I just immediately go, baby.
That's just part of it, right? It's a cool game. The music's cool. The atmosphere is cool. It felt so different to other RPGs.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, definitely another PlayStation 2 classic that you can play in modern ways, or you got Reload now. So there we go. All right, it's time for number 6, which which beat out number 7, Persona 3. By 150 points. So it's 150 points higher than Persona 3. Ash, John, what is our number 6 PS2 game of all time?
Ooh.
Man.
It's really tough.
I'm pretty sure, almost certain the sequel is going to be in the top 5. So I'm just going to take a shot in the dark and say, if you walk away, you can't hear me say Kingdom Hearts 1.
All right.
That's what I'm going with. I'm doing it.
I'm going to say Ratchet and Clank, Up Your Arsenal.
Ooh, all right. All right.
Both good choices. Both incorrect, unsurprisingly.
Nice.
Let's be honest. Nice. Another shock. Persona 4.
Oh. What?
Back to back.
Really?
Persona 3
back to back.
4. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Huh?
Yeah. They both made the top 10.
Did people play this on PS2?
I just would have thought it was Vita that people mostly played it on.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm questioning a few people out there. Where did you really play this, huh?
Wow. I would never have guessed that. That's crazy.
I prefer it to 3. But
I have heard from people that some do prefer original Persona 4, if only for the story. They feel a lot of the themes of the story is weakened by the additions of Golden.
Yeah. 4 on PS2
it's not unfair.
Also looks better in many ways. Golden got rid of a lot of the atmosphere. Like sometimes the fog just wasn't quite right. Things looked a bit too bright. Like in the park area with the river, On PlayStation 2, like the trees feel like the kind of masked a little bit, whereas on Vita they're out there. You can just see like these photographic looking leaves. So it definitely looks a bit nicer on PS2. But yeah, Vita, I think it was just more comfortable to play a Persona game on a handheld, and it always is. And that's kind of how I remember Golden, was just sort of picking it up whenever I wanted to, and that was kind of a big bolster of the Vita. But a great game is a great game, and it is one of my favorite RPGs ever.
I would put it forward that Persona 4 is what made Persona as popular as it is. Like Persona 3 got the foot in the door. Persona 4 made it explode.
Yeah.
This game was everywhere. We can just tell from all the friggin' spin-offs it got. It's huge. It's just the music, the characters. It's still labeled as for a lot of people. It gets broken down like this of the later Persona games, where Persona 3 has the best story, Persona 4 has the best cast, Persona 5 has the best gameplay.
I think that's right.
And it's hard to argue with the cast.
I think that's true. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Is for me, it comes down to the characters, and I too primarily associate P4 with the Golden version. But when it comes down to it, what I think of with P4 is the characters. The characters are so freaking fantastic, and the characters in Persona in general are great. But there's something about P4's cast, and by something I mean Chie, that elevates P4 above the rest cast-wise, and I love P4's characters so freaking much.
It's beyond the humans too. Like Inaba, the town, is a character. I love that small town vibe.
You're right.
I love just walking around, getting super familiar with a small location, going around the same shopping district for the entire year, seeing how it kind of evolves over time. It's such a cozy game. There's nothing really like Inaba. Like you get this really sprawling story taking place in a small area, and it's super nice.
Yeah.
Coziest murder mystery.
Very much so. I've still not beaten this one. I got as far as Kanji.
You're pretty far in then.
Oh, okay.
I got pretty far in. Yeah. So here's the issue. Persona 4 was my first Persona, and I was under the impression in order to get the best ending, I had to max out all the social links. So I was following a guide, and it burned me out. I was just to be that rigorous on my first playthrough.
Yeah.
I was only much later that I found out, like, no, just do what you can.
Yeah, that's my advice to anyone playing Persona. Just freewheel it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Don't worry. Right. Yeah. Don't worry. Just go at your own pace. Trust me, following that guide to get max social links on your first playthrough is hell.
That's not the way to have fun. Yeah. Maybe get a guide for like secret endings. Other than that, don't worry about it.
And also, key advice from Pikminer 5087 in our live audience chat here: protect Nanako at all costs. Yeah. Also, very good advice. Yes, definitely.
Also, just amazing soundtrack. It says something. I played Dancing All Night on Vita, and I just so addicted to that game, despite not playing through all of Persona 4. So yeah,
right.
But yeah, I can't fault them again for a lot of these choices. You can't fault them. But we're getting limited choices now. We were down to the top 5, and there's a lot of big hitters out there that have not
gotten here so fast.
Yeah. All right.
And all I can say to people is it's just for fun. I get it if you're upset if your favorite did not make this top 10, but it's just for fun. It's just the way it laid out. Trust me. I would shift some things around in this list personally.
I'm not having fun. I'm stressed as all hell.
Same, man. Same.
But yeah, the number 5 choice beat out Persona 4 by 240 points. So we're starting to get a bigger jumps here.
Okay.
Ooh.
I will throw a big one out there, only because I think its sequels will surpass it and may also make it. I'm going to say Grand Theft Auto 3.
Okay.
This isn't one that I put on my top 10 personally, but I know it's extremely popular, so I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to say God of War 2.
Again, both fantastic choices. Stalwarts of the system. But Ash, you jumped the gun a little bit.
Oh,
Number 5, Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
I was so close. Kingdom Hearts 1 at number 5. Interesting.
Yes. Kingdom Hearts 1 at number 5.
So we're probably still looking at Kingdom Hearts 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3 somewhere in this top 5.
It has to be.
Yeah.
And I would argue probably
it's been a
FF10
weird
as
list
well.
so far.
Yeah.
It's been a weird list, so.
Man. I think this is like, if you grew up with this one, it's kind of just a very nostalgic childhood game. Like if you're a kid, you love Disney.
This is a comfort, cozy game to go back to. Like
totally.
how it is. It's the simplest story. It's just enjoyable. I know a lot of people going back to it nowadays it's a hard time because the camera's not great. The combat's only okay. It does the job, but it's simple, as Ash put it.
Yeah. I do think Kingdom Hearts 2 is the better game. However, I can see why people might be more nostalgic for the first game. And I still love the first game to this day, even though the platforming, the combat's a bit janky. Kingdom Hearts is just, it was just that miracle thing that never should have happened. It was nowadays people take for granted what Kingdom Hearts is, but back then it was like, holy crap, Final Fantasy and Disney. What is going on with this game? And there's something really that's still uniquely magical, I think. Despite, even if the gameplay was better refined in future games, there's something uniquely magical about the first Kingdom Hearts. And it's nice to see it in the top 10.
Do you remember when this game was, like, when you first saw this game? Do you remember what your reaction was? I had a friend who had Kingdom Hearts, and that was my first reaction to it. I didn't know what to make of it. He just invited me over, showed me his new game, and there was like Donald Duck whacking someone with a blade. I was like, what are you showing me here?
Yeah,
I think that is kind of, I never really got over that. Like, it's a wild series that shouldn't exist.
I first saw it in magazines, and I saw the screenshots, and I'm like, okay, I love Disney because I was a big Disney kid, and then I was massive into Final Fantasy. Just to see them crossing over, it's like, this feels directly targeted at me. Yeah. What is happening?
I'm aging myself once again, but my first exposure to Kingdom Hearts, I shit you not, was back when Square Enix was still Squaresoft. If you went to E3 back in those days, you would know they had theaters. They had like theaters on the show floor, and you would line up and you would go into a theater. And I did that year, and I was treated to, as one of the theater trailers, the first ever super early trailer for Kingdom Hearts 1. And I was immediately pulled in. I was like, what is this? This is crazy. Disney and Final Fantasy together, and who's this kid, Sora, and he has a giant key he's swinging around. This is the coolest shit I've ever seen. And
Cloud's in this cape, and he just walks by.
Yeah.
Like, what? This is Cloud. It looks good. He's not blocky.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And that was my first exposure to Kingdom Hearts, was that E3 trailer. And I mean, fast forward all these years later, and Kingdom Hearts is one of the nearest and dearest things to my heart still to this day. So I just love Kingdom Hearts so much. And I actually didn't think KH1 would make the top 10. I figured KH2 would, and I think it still will, but I didn't expect 1 to make it, and I'm glad it did.
Would we attribute this game to being the game that really started like action RPGs? Like in their traditional
popularized
form.
It. Maybe in the more traditional form, because they've always existed.
Yeah, but like when you take something that from like Square, for example, usually make turn-based RPGs. They took the entire formula of a turn-based RPG, but sort of replaced the combat with real-time action. There weren't that many games that kind of followed that kind of style.
My only counterpoint to that, and obviously it's not popular on anywhere near the same scale as Kingdom Hearts, though, would be Secret of Mana. And the Mana series in general.
That's right.
You have Secret of Mana, you have the East series. Yeah. There's plenty there, but I think it's Kingdom Hearts popularized it, and
for sure,
into 3D. And I think it made it more accessible that people were willing to check out those other games potentially.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah, love this game. 100% did it. I went out of my way to get the Ultimate Keyblade. Both in the original. And when I played Final Mix as part of the re-release.
And also, do not take a shot every time someone says darkness in the original Kingdom Hearts. Or you will not live. You will die. Yes.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
One last thing. The fact that they were able to get all the actors back, which is just a consistency from Kingdom Hearts from this point on. The fact that they got the actors. Again,
so cool.
Which just didn't happen. It barely happened in actual movie games. Usually the actor is just replaced by some other guy. So to get it for Kingdom Hearts was just wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, Haley Joel Osment's career in the most of his life has been Sora, right? Like, I know he's had a few on-camera stuff, but mostly he's been Sora in
and he loves
the
the
last several years, and he loves the character.
Yeah,
I
Live
love
Audience
it.
is saying that Genie was voiced by Homer Simpson. I think that's true in one of the Aladdin direct-to-video movies.
The direct-to-video and the TV series, so it had precedent.
Yeah.
So
also the great, we got to pay tribute to Leonard Nimoy, the best Xehanort. Oh my god,
he was the best.
Keyblade, so good.
But that's for later. That's not on these game this system anyway.
True.
All right, here we go. Number 4. Ash, John, any guesses to what could be number 4, beating out the original Kingdom Hearts by 250 points?
It's just gonna be a repeat of Persona 3 and 4 again. It's just gonna be Kingdom Hearts 2, isn't it?
Man.
I'll stick with Kingdom Hearts 2.
I was going to say, is that your prediction?
That's my prediction, yeah.
Okay.
All right. My pick is a thrill. What a thrill Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is.
Good choice.
Oh, okay.
All right.
At number 4, John, you said this game, but not this time.
Man.
At number 4, Shadow of the Colossus.
I was fearful that it wouldn't make it at all. So I'm glad it is this high up. What a game, right? Like there's a lot of PlayStation 2 games which start integrating other media, like movies. There's that sort of mix of gameplay and watching something. Shadow of the Colossus is just a continuous game. You're always just in the world looking for the next thing, and it paces its downtime by just letting you explore. Because all of its gameplay is in one set piece. The bosses are the puzzles, they are the platforming. Everything is just integrated into these small set pieces. And I can't think of a single other game like it. It's so special.
Yeah.
I couldn't either.
Shadow of the Colossus is it's a masterpiece. And it's one of those interesting games on two fronts. Because one, it feels like even all these years later, it feels like that there's something still to be found in that game. Like that world was hiding endless mysteries, right? And that there's something still somewhere in that world that still hasn't been found. But on top of that, this is one of those games that had a remaster later on that objectively you could say has better visuals, and it does. But the better visuals kind of take away.
There's something to the texture of the graphics in the PS2 version.
Right.
Fumito Ueda games always have that sort of overexposed lighting, which the remake doesn't have. And I think it's kind of special. There's something about the PS2 version I still think has a different feel.
Yeah.
Agreed.
With Shadow, for me in Shadow Colossus, it was getting all the hype in the gaming magazine, so I was definitely paying attention to it. But I had also only rented Ico because I heard it was so short. So I was in that mode of like, well, if a game's short, I'm just going to rent it so I can at least play it.
Yeah.
But knowing how much I loved Ico, I'm buying Shadow of the Colossus. I just want to support these guys, and I'm so glad I did. It's like the ramp up from Colossus to Colossus, how they change up those set pieces, just incredible. And honestly, the final Colossus is still one of the coolest moments I've ever experienced.
Yeah, there's no English dialogue in this game, but you still feel really strong emotions despite there not being that much story. Like I think when you think about like what is art, right? Like, this is probably getting too out there, but I think art is just something that makes you feel something.
Well, this was sort of when the discussion was starting to really ramp up for video games as art,
right?
And people wanting to be legitimized by Siskel and Ebert.
Right. I think Shadow of the Colossus is just the perfect example of video game art, though, because it makes you feel so much. When you're talking about the Colossus ramp up, to begin with, like, you're like, okay, let's take down this big Colossus, but the further on you go, you kind of feel bad about it because you're taking so many lives to save.
They're never
one life.
doing anything.
Yeah, they're just out there, and you're just killing them all. And it slowly corrupts you, which, there's so much to think about to the story.
And you can see that on Wander's character model too. You can see the corruption happen. And I won't go too into detail for anyone in our audience who hasn't played it yet, because you should, and you shouldn't be spoiled. But I'll just say, in the ending, I struggled, and I fought. I struggled because I didn't want to happen what I knew had to happen because it was so fucking sad, right? And I just and the gameplay part of it, I just struggled, even though it was futile, and because I didn't want to see happen what I knew had to happen. Right. What a game! Yeah. What a game!
I think there's
and also.
One, you got.
I was just saying, Cal Otani's soundtrack for this game.
Masterful.
Utterly
masterful.
So good.
I think that there's only one real fault on PS2, and that's that this console could barely handle Shadow of the Colossus.
It was struggling.
Yeah.
I think when the frame rate really dips, it almost feels like, okay, this is an epic moment. It's pushing the PS2 so far. It's cool that it's dropping so many frames.
I mean, that's how I always view slowdown. It's like, oh man, this is so wild. The game can't even handle it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
get that slowdown effect. But yeah, I'm glad it made it to the top 10 as well. And surprised, I wasn't sure if it would get this high or not, but
yeah, I didn't know.
Very cool that it did. But here we are at the top three PlayStation 2 games of all time.
Okay.
So, John, Ash, what came in at number 3, beating out Shadow of the Colossus by 300 points, where it has 2,302 points, just to have a context there.
So, we're almost certainly looking at Kingdom Hearts 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3 here. Almost certainly.
I would think so, but there is a game that hasn't come up yet that I will personally be heartbroken if it doesn't make the top 10. And I have to ask you both.
Guitar Man.
Do you have... Well, that, of course. I love Guitar Man. But I know that's not making the top 10. What I'm thinking of is, do you both have faith? And I mean faith with a Y instead of an I? Because nobody has mentioned Final Fantasy X yet. My personal favorite Final Fantasy, and such an incredibly popular game. I don't know if it's number 2 or number 1, but I have to hope it's in the top 3. So I'm putting it out there. Final Fantasy X is number 3.
I feel like it should be though, right? But there's only 3 spaces left, and we've not had GTA. And I think
you're right. You're right.
Maybe we've just not reached the right people. But GTA is almost like when you think PlayStation 2, you think Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
As for which one it is, though, it's probably San Andreas.
It would be probably San Andreas.
I think we should say Vice City, though, because it's the better one. People don't realize, but it is.
All right. So we got Final Fantasy X and Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 3, Final Fantasy X.
Yes! I got it right! Holy crap!
We got one right.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I never thought I'd get one right. I'm so glad it made it.
Like it's a game show and Ash just got on Price Right.
I'm just so glad it made it because I love FF10 so much personally. I'm so glad it made it. Yeah,
it's up there. I'd say it's one in my top 3 Final Fantasies. It's really good.
This is another graphical jump showcase. Like you compare Metal Gear Solid 1 to Metal Gear Solid 2, but then like the PS1 Final Fantasies, which I think is still beautiful, but you compare 7 to 10, and it's like we're losing pre-rendered backgrounds, we're losing those sort of Lego-looking models. You've just got full-on people now in these beautiful environments. The soundtrack's a huge step up. It's on DVD now rather than CD discs. It was just this grandiose
you have
jump.
Voice acting for the first time.
Yeah. It's immeasurable how big of a jump this was.
I think what stands out to me about FF10 all these years later still is just the lived-in feel of the world of Spira. It feels like they really did some amazing world building. Like it feels like a real living, breathing world with its own culture and its own history. And as you go on this pilgrimage, and it's literally about a pilgrimage, and you learn to love the world and the characters as you go on this journey with them, right?
The thing is, it is a extremely linear game. Like it is essentially a hallway simulator like Final Fantasy 13 if you break it down, but the world is so interesting and the places you go to do expand out, allow you to explore a little bit more, so it masks it well. And it's just a classic. It is a massive step up. It has fantastic characters, and I was hyped for this game to the point that I bought the Final Fantasy Spirits Within soundtrack just to look at the trailer for Final Fantasy X.
That's so good.
Yeah.
It's a terrible soundtrack.
We see less of it these days, but there was so much Tidus and Eunice stuff on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
So many like AMVs where people would just put their music to cutscenes of those two together. It was endless.
I know. And they're still one of my favorite gaming couples to this day. I just think theirs is a very well told story, and the ending, man, doesn't pull any punches. I won't go into it here, but the ending does not pull any punches. And I think the linearity in this case, and I've never had an issue with linear games. I don't think everything needs to be non-linear open world, but I think the linearity specifically in this game's case served it because it was about a group of people going on a pilgrimage from one place to another together. And you as the player got to connect with them on the way to that pilgrimage. And on the way, you saw these people who didn't make it. You saw other people who didn't complete their pilgrimage or who died along the way, and it made you want to see it through. And it just felt like a very personal, important journey. And then, early on, you see what happens when sin attacks. So it makes you feel the urgency of, the importance of their pilgrimage. It feels like a very personal story all the way through, and I love again Spira, the whole Okinawan feel and setting vibe. It's just Spira I think is one of Square Enix's most well realized worlds ever to this day.
It's also we haven't even talked about the gameplay. Like it significantly changed up the gameplay of Final Fantasy with the being able to swap in party members was a godsend for me, who always like agonized over the fact that I left this party member out or whatever. Having that system in place, it's just fun. And I actually kind of like the sphere grid. Like it's again, a mostly linear type idea, but it engaged me enough that I just had fun.
It's the last Final Fantasy of its kind, really. Like after this, Square would get very experimental and sort of reinvent Final Fantasy each time. I think you could probably argue that 13 is a little bit more traditional, even if people didn't love it. But after this,
loved it. Hey, I loved it.
I know you did.
It'll be very interesting to see if 13 gets a viewing when we get the PS3/Xbox.
No way, I don't think it will.
No way,
not. But you never know.
I'll vote for it.
This was a weird list, so you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, after this, like with 12 is a drastically different game, and it was cool seeing that on the same console. But we never really got a Final Fantasy like 10 again, and they're still they keep reinventing it. So it's kind of the end of a chapter for Final Fantasy. So it's cool seeing it in that kind of regard as well.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Sure. All right. We're ready for the next one. At number 2,
2 games
beat out Final Fantasy X by 97 points. This was actually very close between 3 and 2.
So is it possible?
What is our number 2 game?
Is it possible there's no Grand Theft Auto and this is just Kingdom Hearts and Metal Gear?
That would be crazy. I assumed at least one GTA would make out of this list, but so far, man.
Well, out of Kingdom Hearts and Metal Gear, which one do you think is the least likely to be here?
I kind of feel like Kingdom Hearts 2 is going to be number 1. That's what I'm thinking. I think so. But then again, so could GTA San Andreas. Yeah, but then Snake Eater as well, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think Metal Gear Solid 3 is it's so often called like the best video game.
Man, I think I'm gonna go with Snake Eater being number 2.
All right. I'll go for GTA San Andreas. I'm gonna say I feel like I'm probably being wrong, but I feel like Kingdom Hearts isn't here if there's only 2 choices left.
Maybe not.
All right. At number 2, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
So we still don't know. How did
I get that? How did I do that?
We still don't know which of those
That's actually
games
pretty
isn't
impressive,
here.
Ash.
Wow. Sorry, what, Derek?
You got 3 right so far,
Yeah,
or at least
That's crazy. I don't even know how that happened.
Man, yeah, what a game though. The subsistence version adds the third-person camera to Metal Gear for the first time, and it was really cool exploring the jungle from like being able to fully control the camera around. Like that evolved it far more than any second version of Metal Gear. But 2 ended on a cliffhanger, and so after 2, you're kind of like, where does the story go from here? And instead of continuing it, they just went back to the past. But it was nice to have that fresh slate though, like not to be continuing anything and just have a pretty simple story. I say simple, it's very elaborate, but without all the ties to what Metal Gear's been before. And it tells the most grounded Metal Gear story of them all.
Yeah,
right.
It's you get to see this evolution of Big Boss, which you've
Yeah.
heard about for so long, and to see him come into his own by the end of the game is just a lot of fun. They have this, it's so different too, because you're barely ever inside buildings. And that was such a
Yeah.
standard thing for
Right.
previous Metal Gear Solid games. And to just go through these places, adjust your camo, have to survive, pull out those bullet wounds, take care of all those little
Yeah.
things. It really got you involved, got you just in that world. And it's still my favorite Metal Gear Solid to this day. It's
Same.
just
Too.
pure fun, and it's that simplicity. You can just jump into it without any issue, not really miss out on anything. And it still has its cheeky fun. It loves to make fun of Raiden.
Oh yeah.
And then it loves to make fun of Raiden, and it loves like you kill Ocelot, you got a time paradox.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
There's so much good stuff in 3. I love too how you use the jungle. Like you hide in the grass, you're hiding behind trees. It's a form of stealth that Metal Gear never really had before, because it's always quite boxy, small areas. But now you've got these quite large sandboxes to hide in. And then when you get to like the desert area, you've got like these little dunes to hide around in, and it feels. I mean, you're in the wild. Metal Gear's always been going around these sort of warehouses, but now you're in the actual world this time. It really changes the context of the gameplay. And 2 very much evoked the first game to its strengths, but it didn't have that much like unique, like from the ground up stuff. Whereas 3 totally ground up, like fully ground up bosses, fully ground up ideas. It's not borrowing or leaning on anything. It's just doing what it wants to do. And out of that,
Amazing
you get
bosses too.
I was gonna say, like the thing that comes to mind for me is the sniper with the end.
The end.
Yeah, just like that really long sniper battle where you don't know where he is, and you've got this big sandbox to fight him in. There's nothing else like that.
No. And
MGS3 has vibes.
The river boss fight. I forget what.
The sorrow.
The sorrow was wild too. But go ahead.
No,
Ash.
I mean MGS3 has vibes like no other. I mean, the Snake Eater, the theme song goes full on James Bond, and it works so incredibly well. And then you have these iconic sequences like the ladder climb, and the impossibly long ladder climb, and just the vibes are so immaculate. And then you've got these amazing supporting characters. One of my favorite characters ever in anything is the boss. She's so cool, and what an amazing iconic character who often steals the scene from Snake himself.
Yeah.
Oh,
and their final battle and the flowers and the the game.
All I'll say
insane.
All I'll say is I've never in any other game hesitated for so long to push a button.
Oh, I hear you. Same.
My only problem with the boss is once I realized she was voiced by Pearl from SpongeBob, I couldn't unhear it.
I never knew that. Oh no,
I did not know that. Oh boy, that's funny. What a
I never knew
character.
That. But no, this game is still my favorite MGS game.
Boss lines on Pearl or Pearl lines on Boss. That had to have done at this point.
It's the same for Ashley Graham in Resident Evil 4 is Sandy Cheeks in SpongeBob. There's too much you can't unhear once you know.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's actors and whatnot. I never realized that Josh Keaton was young Ocelot who would go on to be spectacular Spider-Man.
Exactly. There's a lot of really good talent in this game. The whole cast is incredible. But there's also so much just cool stuff. Like you get like Snake versus Monkey as a side mode where you can hunt down ape escape monkeys.
Yeah.
You get like calls with the Colonel who he's talking about like monkeys, and Snake's like monkeys. It's so fun.
Monkeys.
You find out that Big Boss get the whole classic line of "in the box." I feel secure, and then there's also like I think he believes in Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It's so
and he also
funny.
just had like a really good, he's not super complicated. He's just a good classic, you love to hate him villain in Colonel Volgan. Just cut out his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like those blue eyes of his. He's just such an asshole, but he's great about it, right? He's just
amazing,
he's just a great villain you love to hate.
Confrontation.
Yeah. Oh, I love this game so much.
The Shagohod.
Yeah.
There was a learning curve when I first played 3, because I was coming off of 2, where you've got like the high-tech radar that you can kind of rely on, like watching the dots where everyone is. You don't have that tech here. So you have to rely more on just looking at your surroundings and being
Right.
more involved.
Yeah.
And I've grown to love that. But when I first started, I was like, oh, this isn't right. I can't play it like this. But you slowly start to adapt and use the tools that you do have. And it's just so much more strategic.
Mm-hmm. It was a great change up, but two very different feeling Metal Gear Solid games on the PS2. I had a feeling it would. This was one of the ones that I felt like was guaranteed to be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Right.
And-
It had to be. Yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
It's time.
Is it Kingdom Hearts or GTA?
That's what it
What
comes down
is-
to,
yeah.
right? It's got to be one of
What
them.
is our
yeah.
number one game of all time, beating out Snake Eater by 700 points?
Jeez.
This was the clear winner from the beginning.
It cannot not be Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. But it also might not be.
Because I'm honor bound as a Kingdom Hearts fan, I'm going to say it's likely GTA San Andreas, but I have to stay true to Sora and my heart, and I have to go with Kingdom Hearts 2. But I also realize it may very well be GTA San Andreas. But it's one of those two.
You're probably right, but I feel like it should be GTA San Andreas.
Oh, fighting words. I mean,
All
they're
right.
both great. They're both great. They both deserve it.
Here we go. At number one,
Kingdom Hearts, isn't it?
Kingdom Hearts 2.
So we don't have any Grand Theft Auto in the top 10.
That's the crazy
crazy.
thing. To give some context here, before we dive into Kingdom Hearts 2, remember at number 10 was Jack and Daxter with 1,078 points. At 1,040 points was tying for number 11 was Silent Hill 2 and Katamari Damacy. They were that close, 30 points away. 1 point behind them, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Wow.
That's just not...
I was shocked that Jack and Daxter made it in over those three games.
That's crazy.
This is illegal. We have to call the
I could
authorities.
not believe it.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit, just a little bit, I don't want to say vindicated because this is just for fun, but I've never been a big GTA fan. You guys know. I respect how amazing the games are and how revolutionary they are.
You know what probably does not help?
What?
Kingdom Hearts 2 gets released all the time. Like, it is so easy to play the Kingdom Hearts series. GTA, it got that classic collection, and it wasn't good.
They botched it
so
for a
people's
while.
opinions might have been soured on what those were.
Yeah.
Plus, if you reevaluate them, the controls aren't the best.
I think San
The shooting
Andreas
is
still
never the
holds up
best.
really well. Like three's
It
controls,
does.
there's some getting used to. San Andreas still feels pretty modern, I'd say.
Yeah, it was the closest for sure,
Yeah.
but that's why it's also ranked number one. But if I had to take any predictions or just our community in general, it's possible. But again, it's for fun. You're never going to get a perfect list. Everybody's top 10 was different. Everybody's top 10 was
of course.
different.
I mean, as Natalie in our live audience chat said, this is the game where Goofy died temporarily.
So many people die in Grand Theft Auto.
deal.
You can just run. If Goofy were in this game, you can just run him over and kill him whenever you want to.
But this is Goofy. He has Disney plot armor, and he still died temporarily, sort of. Almost, yeah. I love this. Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. And I think even taking myself out of it, I think it's fair to say that Kingdom Hearts 2 was one of the most highly anticipated sequels ever on anything of all time, period. Not to take anything away from GTA San Andreas, which is also a fantastic game, but I don't know that it was anticipated as a sequel in quite the same way Kingdom Hearts 2
I kind of feel
was.
maybe it was. I feel like
You think so?
There was a lot of
I think
previous stuff.
everyone-
People were hyped for GTA San Andreas. And San Andreas definitely outsold Kingdom Hearts 2.
What I mean was that it was the third in its series after Vice City and 3, whereas Kingdom Hearts 2 was like coming years after multiple integral games on other consoles.
Well, no, 2 was one integral. It had Chain of Memories.
Oh, you're right. It had Chain of Memories.
I
Wasn't
think
there something
it's
else?
just different
No,
fandoms. I think with Kingdom Hearts, you've got a more dedicated fandom. With GTA, though, it was like everyone played that. It doesn't matter if you played video games or not.
Yeah.
I feel like most PlayStation 2 players gravitated to San Andreas.
Sure.
That's fair.
No, you're
That's
right.
absolutely fair. Again, I would shift around to some things on this list if I was making it, even for just an objective top 10 PS2 list. But that's just not how it is. That's just, everybody's experience is different, and that's how it's the legacy of a console and games is so interesting in how it shifts over time and what people gravitate towards. What is their childhood? What do they go for? And I think I wonder if GTA 4 and 5 will put up a better showing later on. It's like there's where it'll.
What do people view
really
5 as? Like, what platform do you associate that game with? Because
Oh,
it's
God,
gone
good
across
question.
three generations.
And it really
Good
is interesting too, because like, I mean, as much as I love Kingdom Hearts, GTA was like the masses game. It was for the masses, right? And it didn't even make top 10, whereas Kingdom Hearts has a huge following, and I still think it was one of the most anticipated sequels ever. But but it didn't have that mass appeal like GTA did, and
Which is funny because it's Disney. But
Yeah,
it's
I
also
know.
weird Disney.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Kingdom Hearts 2 is brilliant as a sequel. It's I for the longest time I was upset about them getting rid of the platforming because I thought it gave the game a little bit of extra texture. In retrospect, now it makes sense to get rid of it. The worlds are a little bit smaller, but you have more variety. And the combat is where this game shines.
Oh,
it is so much fun.
It's so good.
Unlocking the different forms for Sora is great. There's so much extra content to it, and it's also gone through a reevaluation because, well, let's be honest, people hated the first 4 hours of this game.
Oh yeah, it does, which is interesting. It does have one of the slowest openings, and most just harshly looked back upon openings ever, maybe. But then what it turns into is just
as soon as you take control of power Sora, it's just like joy incarnate.
Exactly, and the power creep, like the way Sora feels to play at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, he's still even. I mean, there's Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, to be fair, in the end game of Kingdom Hearts 3, but like, God, Sora just feels like so powerful at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 with final form and dual wielding keyblades and stuff. He feels that there's just a power fantasy with Kingdom Hearts 2 that isn't replicated in a ton of other games.
I think with Kingdom Hearts 2, it feels like it's growing up with those who played the first game as well. In a way that 3 doesn't quite. I think the time jump is too big between 2 and 3. Whereas 1 and 2, it feels like, you know, if you were, I don't know, like 12 when this game came out, it kind of feels like it's moved on with you.
You aged up with Sora, even though it's only been a year.
Yeah.
I've also heard a lot of people confused about what the heck was going on because they didn't play Chain of Memories. They were like, wait, that's plot important?
Yeah.
Which is a lesson to Kingdom Hearts fan, is every game is important.
Started as soon as the second game.
Oh, gosh.
Man, what a list.
Yeah.
It's a wild list.
This is our weirdest list for sure. And now you know why I decided I wanted to go top 100 for laying it out, because I know people will be curious.
But if people are angry about it, you could have changed this. You could have voted for the game you wanted. You could have changed the fate of this.
I pushed this one as hard as I could to get it out there for people.
Yeah.
Just to have, I was hoping to match what N64 got, but again, it's spread out among 700 different games.
Yeah.
And these are the ones
That's insane.
And they all are really good games. Everyone rightfully should be here. It's just there's so many other games that should also rightfully be here.
And maybe people will feel better about our top 20. So let's start going over these games, because boy, there's a lot.
And we can't talk about all of them in depth. We've got to keep rolling.
No, we can't talk about them in depth. There's no way we're gonna be able to do that.
Right.
All right. Again, tied for 11, Silent Hill 2 and Katamari Damacy.
Wow. Okay.
Both great.
Yeah.
Honestly, I probably would have put Silent Hill 2 above Jack and Daxter.
Silent Hill 2 is a worthy top.
I would have too. Yeah.
It should have been. It should be in contention for
Silent Hill 3.
True. We'll get there.
It'll be here somewhere.
Yeah.
San Andreas at number 13.
Man.
Here's a shocker. Again, reevaluation of a series. At number 14, Dragon Quest 8.
I think it's the best RPG on the platform, but I didn't discover that until 3DS though.
Okay.
A lot of people discovered the Dragon Quest series thanks to the PS2 and the demo disc that was part of Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. And here's the craziest part of it. It was only 5 points behind San Andreas. It could have beaten San Andreas.
That's wild.
If people thought like 10 was too linear, like Dragon Quest 8 is it's Super Nintendo style continued.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure. Great game. Number 15, Devil May Cry 3.
Yeah, rightfully.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah.
Number 16, Sly 2, Band of Thieves.
Glad Sly made it here.
Yeah.
Nice.
For the longest time, I thought Sly was the one that was ranking the best. That I was like totaling up. It's like, oh wait, Jack out of nowhere. 17. It hurts my heart because I love this series so much, but it ranked the lowest out of individual entries amongst the 3 platformers. Ratchet and Clank, Up Your Arsenal.
I thought
Wow.
Up Your Arsenal would be
where's
the
my
top
Ratchet
Ratchet,
love?
at least.
Yeah.
But then as consolation, 17 was Up Your Arsenal. 18 is the original Ratchet and Clank, which surprised me that beat out Going Commando.
Same. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
At number 19, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. So it made the top 20, John.
Okay.
And
We take it.
And here's another one I thought would rank higher. We'd see a lot more of. At number 20, God of War 2. I can't believe God of War did not make the top 10.
Do you think God of War changing has just changed people's perspective?
I think it's changed perspective.
Yeah.
Kratos doesn't have he's just an angry boy. He's not really a lot to it.
The story's good in God of War 1 and 2, but they've gone in a very narrative direction now, which these games were never really about.
Yeah, and it's so great. It's as set pieces go. God of War 2 is amazing. Like it's a
crazy.
Huge step up over the original.
Yeah,
but there it is.
Wow.
All right, so that's our top 20. Let's get our next set of 10. At 21, Resident Evil 4.
It had exclusive stuff. You got the chainsaw controller. You got separate ways.
Yeah.
Like if you played this game, you probably had a good time. But it should be in the top 10 for GameCube at least, though.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will be.
At
22, Ratchet and Clank Going Commando.
Cool.
All right.
23, here's your Star Wars Battlefront 2, John.
Yeah, this was everywhere. I felt like I wasn't that into it, but I had so many friends who were.
Yeah, fair. I remember it being a big thing. At 24, Final Fantasy 12.
Okay.
I thought that actually might be a bit lower, to be honest. Like, it's not bad, but there's a lot of games I think I'd put ahead of it.
Yeah, agreed.
At 25, the original God of War. 26, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus.
Cool.
Okay.
27, this is for all you Tales fans. Tales of the Abyss. Only lost to Sly Cooper by 1 point.
Nice.
So it almost was getting pretty close to being in the top 25, but Tales of the Abyss, 27. Great game. 28, Jak 2.
Lower than I expected, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think as people have reevaluated, it's been less and less popular. At 29, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne.
Cool.
Pretty
also a very good RPG.
Yeah.
At 30, Ico, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
I see.
Nice.
Yeah, Ico. That's what I usually say.
As well.
Yeah. Tied at 31 with 354 points, just to give a sense of where we're at here. Tied at 31, We Love Katamari and Xenosaga Episode 3.
Hey, Xenosaga 3 made the top 30.
Nice,
okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will admit.
What different games?
Very
I will
different
admit,
games.
Xenosaga 3 made my top 5. I love that game to death. I'm glad it made the top 30.
Yeah.
At 33, Klonoa 2.
Cool.
Hey, nice. Wahoo.
Nice.
Very solid showing.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
34. This one doesn't surprise me too much. Burnout 3 Takedown.
I was going to say, where's Burnout 3? We've got. This should be a bit further up, I think. It's still the best.
I think so too. Burnout 3 is the best racing game on PS2.
Yeah.
By far. So good.
I'm personally hurt that we haven't heard from Silent Hill 3 yet. That hurts my heart.
It is a bit weird. Is it next?
Yeah.
No, it's not next. Next is at 35, The Simpsons Hit and Run.
Okay.
This is like one of the best licensed games ever made, in my opinion.
I've not played this. I really should.
I haven't
I've
either.
heard it's so good.
It feels like you're playing a Golden Age Simpsons episode with GTA mechanics. It's in some ways the gameplay holds up a little bit better than like GTA 3 as well. It's shockingly well made.
That's so funny. At 36, Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves.
Okay.
37 is Devil May Cry. The 38, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
Yeah.
And then 39, Silent Hill 3. So it made top 40.
Finally.
That's
okay. At least
lost
we
out, like,
40.
just an example, lost out the Pro Skater 3 by 4 points.
Jeez.
Devil May Cry by 5 points. Needed 20 points to get it above Sly Cooper 3. It's just how close it all was.
It's far too low.
Right. Fair.
It's not fair.
Again, it should be higher, but again, these are tight races for sure. I might post these somewhere just so people can see just how close they were. I might make a comment for it if I can remember. Anyway, number at 40, Tekken 5.
Cool.
Okay.
Tekken Tag Tournament's really good too. We'll see if that places anywhere.
I think Tekken 5 is like the fan favorite of this generation.
Yeah.
41 was Jack 3. 42, Ape Escape 3, excuse me.
I was almost going to say Ape Escape 3 in the top 10. I was like, no, it's not going to be in the top 10. But it's my favorite Ape Escape.
It's good. It was really good. 43 is Xenosaga Episode 1.
Cool. All right.
Which is cool to see.
Okay. Didn't expect that.
44, Grand Theft Auto 3. Which...
Wow.
If you're talking about impact, it should be much higher. But as a game, of course, Vice City and
they are better. It just makes me chuckle to see it this low, though, because it's what you think of when you think PS2. At least I do.
Yeah.
Like
it is by far the most impactful. But it got, as you said, it got sequels. So
yeah, I guess so.
Took over.
Yeah.
At 45, Psychonauts.
Oh, cool choice. Okay. That's going to be higher on Xbox, I feel.
It will be.
A lot of people associate with Xbox, so I think that'll be it. At 46, Sonic Heroes. Actually, excuse me, tied it at 46. Sonic Heroes and Dark Cloud 2.
Dark Cloud 2, I love Dark Cloud 2.
Dark Cloud 2 is beautiful.
I don't dislike Sonic Heroes, but I also don't really feel like it should be here.
It's also not a great port. Like, it's not it's the worst version.
Yeah.
So, but that's nostalgia.
Yeah.
Here's one people will love, though. It made the top 50. At 48, Guitaru Man.
Yeah.
Yes, I was wondering.
One of the best rhythm games ever made.
Oh, I love this game so much. Yeah. Guitaru Man rules. Yeah.
At 49, Guitar Hero 2. We got a theme.
You can't understate how big Guitar Hero was in this era.
Guitar Hero.
No, that's for sure.
At the time.
Yeah.
It was so big at the time. And finally, at number 50, we're going to go top 100. I'm going to rapid fire at that point. At number 50, The Bully.
Ooh.
Okay.
Rockstar, again, hitting on all cylinders. And I know a lot of people love The Bully.
Yeah, Rockstar were crazy. They somehow did GTA 3, Vice City San Andreas back-to-back, then Bully. Did they have, was Rockstar like table tennis? Was that? That might have been like an table game.
That might have been next gen. They also had like Manhunt and whatnot.
Right. They're just doing games
of
every
emergency.
single year. Whereas now you get a game from them every single decade.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Gonna rapid fire these, so bear with me here. Okay. Tied at 51, Spider-Man 2 and Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3.
Okay.
53 is Time Splitters 2.
Ah, yes.
54, God Hand. Well deserved.
Ooh. Okay.
55, Tony Hawk's Underground. 56, I feel this is criminally low. Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time.
Yeah, that's like top 10 material.
Yeah, it really is. I feel like it should have been higher,
but
that's the way it goes. 57, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. 58, Final Fantasy X-2.
Okay. Oh, okay. Nice.
59, Ape Escape 2.
Also very good.
Tied at 60, so 60 and 61 technically. SSX Tricky and Odin Sphere.
Odin Sphere!
Odin Sphere made my top 10. I love Odin Sphere.
Same.
At 62, Crash Twin Sanity.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
All right.
It's unique, very unique. 60 tied at 63, Gran Turismo 4 and Soul Calibur 2.
Oh,
SC2, man.
I was wondering where Gran Turismo was, but maybe this isn't the audience to bring it forward. But that was another like defining PS2 game.
Yeah,
SC2 I think will be much higher on the GameCube list.
Yeah,
very much.
People just want their Link. Yeah. They want their Link, and they want him now.
Link's a bit more exciting than Heihachi.
Yeah.
At 65, Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah.
66, Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy.
We were saying before airing, we thought this would be here somewhere because Lego games were massive on this in this era.
This was when it just immediately took off.
Yeah.
At 67, I'm surprised it did this well, which is it's because not talked about much anymore. Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I haven't heard that in a while. Yeah,
Very different type of game, but I want to check it out. It looks very interesting.
Yeah.
At 68, Ratchet Deadlocked.
Yeah, this is probably one of the least remembered of the.
Yeah.
It's
I
good
remember
for
that
what
either.
it is, but it does feel not lesser, but less remembered. And then tied at 69, the original Dark Cloud and Disgaea Hour of Darkness.
Cool.
So
okay.
Dark Cloud 2 is just such a huge jump over the first Dark Cloud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never played the original Dark Cloud. I know it's a launch game, but I know it's also like had weapons breaking and all that stuff. It was very experimental at the time, but it's also the first time I heard about Level 5.
Yeah.
This was like the rise of Level 5.
Right.
They went from making Dark Cloud to, well, they're the ones who developed Dragon Quest 8. So there you go.
They were killing it here.
At 71, Gran Turismo 3.
Okay.
72, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, which is just
I kind of thought that would be here.
Favorite.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people's childhood favorites, so
Yeah.
it makes sense to be here. Actually, excuse me, SpongeBob tied at 72. It's sharing that spot with Rogue Galaxy.
What different games? Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
At 74, Beyond Good and Evil.
Nice.
Wow.
I think this is one of the best games of that era, but
It's so good.
Yeah, there's just so many different.
Hard to say. It might struggle because it's third party.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has a system that it's associated with.
I feel like I've kind of associated with Xbox before, but I don't know if that's what most people do.
Maybe.
Is it just because Jade's green and Xbox is green?
I don't know.
'Cause I kind of do too, despite playing this on PS2.
Right.
Yeah, it could be. We'll see. Xbox will be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we get there. 75, WWE SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. Again, huge era for wrestling games. At 76, Soul Calibur 3.
Okay.
PS2
Less
exclusive.
talked about.
I'm surprised, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, because the 2 was on everything, different characters, and the 3 just went PS2 only for some reason.
Which is weird because it sold best on GameCube, but PS2 was huge at the time. Also, the introduction of the character creator.
Right,
Soul Calibur, which was a huge part of that game going forward. 77, Capcom versus SNK 2.
Amazing game.
Yeah. 78, Parappa the Rapper 2.
Okay, nice.
I don't love this anywhere near as much as the first one, to be honest.
I don't hear about it as much as the first one.
I still like it a lot, but yeah, it doesn't.
Guitaru Man took it this era. Guitaru Man.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Tied for 79, Sonic Riders and Time Splitters Future Perfect.
Love both of those. Sonic Riders, I think, is cooler than Heroes. We can knock Heroes off and replace it with Riders.
There you go. Then we got another tie, a three-way tie, which I don't know if I've ever had happen before. Three-way tie at 81 between Guitar Hero,
cool,
Lego Star Wars, the original, the video game, so that was the prequel trilogy, and Sonic Unleashed.
Sonic Unleashed?
Really?
I think it was
PS2
also kind of like
version of Sonic Unleashed?
Yeah, I think it also played like the Wii.
The Wii version,
yeah.
Without
Version,
Waggle.
yeah.
Huh.
I could. If you gave me a million guesses, I wouldn't have guessed Sonic Unleashed for PS2.
Same. Yeah, that's a
Again,
choice.
it's only at 81, but
yeah.
But still among 700, so it still says something with some of the other games out there.
Okay.
But yeah, I think people probably like that one just because it gets rid of the waggle if you want to play the Wii version of Unleashed.
I mean, it's cool and worth playing. I'm just surprised to see it here.
Yeah. Let's see. At 84, another three-way tie at 84 between Mr. Mosquito,
Nice,
SSX3, and Pac-Man World 2.
Oh,
okay.
World 2 is really good. Mr. Mosquito is more than just funny, but it is genuinely quite a good game as well.
Yeah.
It's a cool game,
solid. Yeah. At 87, the original Yakuza.
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
People did remember that was a thing. At 88, Zone of the Enders, the second runner. Great game.
I feel like
Great
that
action.
should be higher.
It should be
higher.
but it just
should
didn't.
be.
Zone of the Enders always struggled to get an audience,
Yeah.
but Zone of the Enders is also really good. Second one definitely more so than the original. At 89, Burnout Revenge.
Also cool.
Follow up the takedown, which I like, but I didn't like the fact that you could barrel behind the people behind you. It made it a little too easy, in my opinion. Anyway, number 90, Mega Man X8.
Hey, it made it top 100. Nice.
Yeah,
it's a good game. It's a good game. Not a great one, but a good one.
Yeah, I'll find out eventually. 91. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Duelists of the Roses. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was massive at this time.
For sure.
Okay, yeah.
92. Shadow the Hedgehog.
Not the shadow I was waiting for. Okay.
Yeah.
You're thinking Shadow Hearts. I get that hasn't appeared yet. Yeah.
I'm waiting, dude. I'm waiting for Shadow Hearts Covenant.
Yeah.
Where is Shadow Hearts
did
Covenant?
Not make it.
Shadow Hearts didn't make it. What? Wild Arms hasn't made it either.
Dude.
Nope.
No Wild Arms.
Shadow Hearts Covenant.
Nope.
Shadow Hearts Covenant is low-key brilliant.
Why are you putting Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic Unleashed in here, but not Shadow Hearts or Wild Arms?
That makes me so mad.
I still have played Shadow Hearts, but I have played Kudelka now. So
that makes me so mad.
Oh my.
At number 3, not number 3, but tied at number 3, another three-way tie between Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, Star Wars Battlefront 1, and Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga 2, which was basically just a continuation of 1.
Yeah.
Just finished up the story.
Okay to all of those.
Yep. 96, Rayman 3.
Yep, pretty good.
97, Tekken Tag Tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, excuse me. Another three-way tie. God, I miss these sometimes. Three-way tie at 97 between Tekken Tag Tournament, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, and Star Ocean Till the End of Time. I'm shocked.
Star Ocean 3 is
top
cool.
100.
Yeah.
And then rounding it out, number 100, Yakuza 2.
I'm glad you did a top 100 because there's so much in there that should rightfully be in there. But there's also so much that wasn't said still.
I know.
Exactly. To put it in context, Yakuza 2 had 73 points.
Okay.
Let me look up Shadow Hearts here.
I have Shadow Hearts Covenant specifically because that's the better game.
Just to see if any of them are in there.
So to compare, Shadow Hearts Covenant, 44 points. Shadow Hearts 1, 45 points.
Wow, Shadow Hearts
1
went first. Oh yeah, from the New World kind of sucks.
There's a lot of games that weren't said. No Drakengard.
Right.
Yeah.
No Valkyrie profile is Chezio just said. Yeah.
It's tough for me to search for. I can tell you they were John gave me the first one, Drakengard. Drakengard did not get a lot, if I remember. Actually, close. It almost made top 100. 68 points.
I have to ask if anyone
I think it's like 102 because Rayman Revolution, Rayman 2 got 70 points.
It's a cool version of Rayman 2. Not the best, but it's a neat way to play it.
I have to ask if anyone shit voted and put in Mega Man X7 because there's no way anybody did.
There's always going to be someone.
Command Mission got 18 points. Mega Man X7 got 9 points.
Jesus, that's ridiculous. It deserves negative 9 points for sure.
Some people though might have been like, this is one of the few PS2 games I played, so that's why I played it.
Yeah.
So it's in my top 10.
That's funny.
We blew past this earlier. I think Spider-Man 2 was like number 50 or something.
Yes.
That's actually a really influential game for Spider-Man. Like if you look back and compare that to Insomniac Spider-Man, they laid everything down in that one. That was done by Treyarch. It's a really good game, and it got the swinging down really well. So I'm glad that made it pretty high up.
Yeah. First play to Jason. The iToy Play 1, 2, and 3 and Antigrav all got votes, none more than 8. 8 points. I don't even know how to lay it down. There's so many games here.
Yeah,
again, 700 to go through. You name it, it's probably in here. Dragon Quest V, the remake, actually got a few votes. It made it to 47 points to have it there. Dirge of Cerberus got 38 points, amazingly.
What did Namco X Capcom get?
It is on here. That got 28 points.
Well, just remember, if there's a multi-plat that you wanted that didn't make it in, you can still get it in. I think Xbox is probably your best candidate to get these multi-plats in. GameCube had some, but it's going to be a very Nintendo-heavy list.
Oh, yeah.
One for you, Ash, the Fatal Frame trilogy. Two at 61, the original at 30, and 3 at 27.
Okay, fair enough.
Respectable, but not enough to get that top 100.
I'm just still personally offended by Silent Hill 3's placement, but
it was crazy.
And Shadow Hearts Covenant. Hurts.
Sakura Wars 5 got 25 points.
Okay.
So another one that people were asking about. Virtual Fighter 4. Sorry, there's a long list of me to go through. 35 points. And then Devil May Cry 2 definitely did not get a lot of points.
Oh, you know what? Mooberry Muffin's asking about what I'm curious about. Kingdom
4
Hearts
points.
Rechain of Memories.
So that didn't actually come out in Europe, so I think the pull for that one's...
Oh, I don't think I realized it didn't come out.
Very close to getting top 100, 62 points.
Wow, okay.
So pretty respectable.
Wow, I'm still just happy that Okami made the
Twisted
top
Metal
10.
Black, 67 points. Just to, again, toss out others that people might be wondering about.
Twisted Metal Black was a pretty big one. Yeah,
it was.
Yep. So, yeah, that is the PS2 list. I'm trying to remember to post the list of 100 in the comments so you guys can see. I know there's some thoughts. By the way, none of the Onimushas got that high.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Oh, wow.
Onimusha
that's
3
crazy.
with 30 points. Onimusha 1 with 43 and Onimusha 2 with 9.
Onimusha is surprising. I think like Monster Hunter you can expect. That didn't blow up until PSP. But Onimusha was a pretty big gem.
Yeah.
That's surprising. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a shocking list to say it for sure.
I don't think there's a single other console where we're going to feel the need to do. Maybe we will, but there's no other console where you feel the need to do 100 games. Yeah.
You know, speaking of Capcom franchises, I'm just curious. Did Maximo chart anywhere?
Yes, Maximo got got 31 points for the first game, 13 points for the second.
I forgot there was a second game, to be honest. I thought
something.
they were just the one. Yeah.
Ridge Racer 5, 27 points for you, Ash.
Oh, okay.
Final Fantasy 11 actually got 59 points.
That's cool. That's cool. Maybe it'll show up in I guess 14 will take on PC, but 11 was a pretty big deal.
It depends on the era. It might get the 2000s to 2010s era.
Yeah. But it was a cool PS2 game. You needed the hard drive to play it.
Yeah. And if you had the Slim, you couldn't use the hard drive. Yeah. So, but yeah, that is our lineup. Oh, by the way, original Monster Hunter 52 points, in case anybody's wondering about that.
Wow.
I'm not sure. Grandia 2, 47 points. I'm just knocking out what I can.
Yeah.
But that is our top 10 PS2 games of all time. I am sure it's going to be controversial. Put your opinions out there. I try to make it as available as possible. Again, every Monday or Tuesday, it gets put out as a post for this list or my Bluesky. As much as you guys don't, some of you hate Bluesky, it's there. I post it there the most often. It's also, it gets posted in our Discord on occasion. So I try to make it as available as possible and just have to keep an eye on it, especially because next time our vote is going to be for the top 10 Game Boy Advance games of all time.
It's going to be a fun one.
All right.
This one's hard to place, but I think I'm going to put Minish Cap as number 1. I think Minish Cap is going to make
with GBA, it's hard to split up the original games and the ports, because I played a lot of ports on GBA for the first time, but I'm going to keep my list with original Game Boy Advance developed games.
That's a good way to do it. I think I'm probably going to do the same thing.
If only that's next week, right? A week from today.
In the top 10.
That's a week from today, right? All right. I'll be back for that one. I'm excited. I think, I don't know what's my number 1, but I can say that Mega Man Battle Network 3 is going to be really high up there. It's going to be up. And Mega Man 03. GBA has some peak Mega Man games. Yeah. Battle Network 3 and 03. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't personally
It's
put
gonna
it
be a
in
tough
there,
one.
but I think Super Mario Advance 4 is such a cool port, especially with those e-reader levels in there.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Man, I'm looking forward to that one.
It's going to be a fun one. Hopefully
Yeah.
less stressful than the PS2 one. That's all
Yeah.
I ask.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, we got Zero Mission Infusion.
Yep.
Ooh, and Wario Land 4 and your Fire Emblem start
Yeah,
popping in there. Pokemon Emerald and Fire Emblem Fire
Yeah.
Red and Leaf Green.
And this console lasted pretty much between 2001 and then was succeeded in 2004. It went on a while after that, but it was a very small lifespan for most compared to most systems.
A lot of games in that amount of time. So
Yeah.
should be interesting. There's
Yeah.
definitely going to be some big ones. People are going to have again. We're getting to the era of people having opinions about what games make it and don't make it in.
Oh
We were
yeah.
already kind of at that, but now it's going to be a constant.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that is our list. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/gvgaming. But even just subscribing to the channel and ringing that bell helps us a ton. So until next time, bye.
Bye.
Later.